Now pleased to have Jane Marsden and Lee Patterson, the two students elected by their fellow grads as being the valedictorians of this grad class.
Go get him, Patterson!
Ladies and gentlemen of the class of '99.
Don't worry, we wouldn't actually make you listen to that song.
Well, this is it. We've almost graduated. It's hard to believe how fast these years have come and gone. It's also amazing how many great memories we've made throughout the years. When previous graduates or adults used to tell me how fast time goes by and to make the most of it, it didn't really mean anything to me. But now I understand and agree with what they said.
It seems like only yesterday that all our classes were taught by the same teacher, and we enjoyed the many finer aspects of life, such as recess and show and tell. Ah, yes, the days where we were all sporting bright, flashy clothing and holding He-Man and Barbie lunchboxes at our sides.
Then came the first day of junior high, and boy, was that scary.
You were given a locker which was coincidentally just the right size for you to be stuffed in.
You had classes to get to on the opposite side of the school, and you just knew your teachers wouldn't be reading you a story.
Girls were starting to wear makeup, and you could swear that the guy sitting next to you in math class was at least 25.
But we all made some new friends and adapted to our new surroundings.
Then one day, something happened to us. Something good. We started to party. We started to party, and we started to slow dance.
And as we slow danced, the teachers wondered why we weren't dancing like they showed us how in gym class. By grade 10, we were feeling a lot more comfortable.
We now had our own set of grade 8s who were, coincidentally, just the right size to fit in lockers. And some of us could even drive, which led to some major cruising. Which brings us up to date, where now we head down to the local gas station where we are permitted to enter the store in a ratio of 5 security guards to 1 student. Once inside, we are closely surveyed and inspected as we try to buy ourselves a lunch, or the popular favorite, a cool zone.
The other alternative is to speed down to McDonald's in order to beat out the mobs of other students, allowing ourselves to consume mass quantities of hamburgers.
Where did the time go? The subject of graduation is a mental conflict for myself and perhaps many others. Whereas I'm glad to be graduating, I'm sad that I will no longer always be able to see the friends that I cherish here at Mount Doug.
For as we all know, not everyone will be doing the same thing in the year to come. Some people will be returning to school or attending university or college to upgrade or to continue to learn. Others will be entering the workforce, whereas others still will be taking time off to travel the world.
Whatever you decide to do, Jane and I wish you the best of luck from the bottom of our hearts.
Throughout our 2 years at Mount Doug, we've experienced and achieved a lot together. We have learned more than we could have possibly imagined, even if we didn't enjoy every moment of it. For this, we thank our teachers, who have made us better individuals. They have taught us more than what was just on the curriculum. They have helped and been patient with us when we couldn't quite seem to figure something out. They have organized and devoted their time to school sports as well as other extracurricular activities. We thank our teachers and are sincerely grateful for all that they have done for us.
We also thank our parents who have always supported us and have poured their hearts and souls into raising us to be the highly accomplished individuals that we see here today. Even if it wasn't always apparent, we have been and will always be grateful to them for all that they have done and for all the faith that they have put in us. With help from our teachers and our friends, we have become more independent and self-confident. But now, it is up to us to determine our futures. No one else can decide that for us. As Susan Schutz once wrote,
We cannot listen to what others want us to do. We must listen to ourselves. Society, family, friends do not know what we must do. Only we know. And only we can do what is right for us. So start now. You will need to work very hard. You will need to overcome many obstacles. You will need to go against the judgment of other people. and you will need to bypass their prejudices. But you can have whatever you want if you try hard enough. So start right now, and you will live a life designed by you and for you, and you will love your life. It's amazing how many friendships have developed over these 2 short years here at Mount Doug.
Yeah, well, Jane, you and I go way back.
Yes, we've been going to school together since kindergarten. I'll never forget our elementary school hot dog days. I remember how you'd make the rounds of the class to see if anybody didn't want some of their food. Even though your mom had already ordered you 3 extra meals. I guess some things never change, eh, Lee?
They sure don't, Jane. They sure don't.
Although school has taught us many things, the reason why going there every morning was actually kind of fun was friends. Our friends made the rough times a lot smoother, could always be counted on in times of need, and were always supportive when things weren't going so well.
I know that myself, as well as many other graduates here tonight, feel that our friends are like brothers and sisters to us. We thank all our friends, from our oldest companions to the ones we made in these last 2 years.
We thank them for putting up with us when we were in a bad mood, or for sticking up for us when no one else would. But most of all, we thank them for their friendship, which is absolutely priceless and for which we'll never forget.
Friends have made the last 12 years of our lives unforgettable and more fun than we could have possibly imagined. From the games of capture the flag, dodgeball, and tag back in elementary school, to the high school barbecues, get-togethers, and killer parties, which I can think of some pretty good examples of. We have shared so many great memories together, and even though we are now leaving high school, there are still many more to be made together.
As I look into the sea of graduates here tonight, I see nothing but highly accomplished and successful individuals. Just look at all that we have accomplished in the last 2 years.
For starters, some of our graduates scored exceptionally well on several different national-level math exams.
Mount Doug students scored higher than we've ever scored before, ranking our school among the top 10 in the country on one exam and first in Canada on another exam.
Of course, they couldn't quite beat Mr. Barker's score, as he remained king of the ring and retained his World Mathematics Championship belt.
Our girls' field hockey team had an incredible season, placing 4th in the province.
The team crushed all that stood in their way by inflicting fear into the hearts of their enemies with their patented cry of, "Rams eat raw meat." And then, of course, there was our boys' lawn bowling team, who in the last seconds of their final game clinched the city finals.
Lee, we didn't have a lawn bowling team.
Yeah, but if we did, we would have won. Which brings me to my next point, full contact mini-golf.
Okay, moving along. Who could forget our outstanding fashion show?
Yes, one might say I had the time of my life there.
And of course, there were the many great dances that took place at Mount Doug.
Ah, yes, the ones where people weren't always quite themselves, if you know what I mean.
And who could ever forget the recent grad banquet? The evening was jam-packed with fun, which carried on into the early hours of the morning.
And throughout the night, many students were reported to have gone buck nutty. The banquet was a complete success, even though some graduates' families were forced to take a second mortgage out on their houses in order to pay for their children's attire.
In fact, all the school activities that were organized by leadership students and members of the grad chair were a lot of fun. And so we thank them for their hard work and their great ideas.
Oh, and didn't our boys' soccer team repeat as BC champions for the second consecutive year? I think we've proven that the graduates of Mount Doug are, well, the best.
And that every single person here is special and unique.
Gee, thanks, Gene.
Except Lee.
Soon, as our parents and teachers like to say, we will be entering the real world. Now, I may be off basis, but I don't ever recall living in a fake world of any sort.
Throughout our years at school, there have been many rough times and good times. Next year, things may get harder and life may be different, but I believe that we will thrive and succeed in this so-called real world.
We now end a chapter of our lives and begin a new one. Although we cannot predict our futures, we accept the challenges that await us.
By our parents and teachers, we've been given a key to open the door to the rest of our future. It is up to us whether we take the opportunity or just let it pass us by.
We each have responsibilities in deciding what we will do after we graduate. In school, teachers give us lessons and then test us on what we have learned. But in life, sometimes we must accept the tests and the consequences before we learn the lessons.
In learning these lessons, never be afraid of failing. It is the way we learn to succeed. Keep in mind that neither failure nor success is ever final.
And believe in yourselves. For if we have made it this far, then I know that we can overcome any obstacle we will ever meet, because we are the graduating class of 1999.